over here at Dover Plains, and I'd like to ask you about your parents, Philippa,
Yeah.
and of course Joseph or Giuseppe. Now, so Philippa, your mother, was Phyllis basically named after Philippa? You think? Is that
Oh, Phyllis?
your daughter
Yeah.
Phyllis,
Yeah.
named after your mother?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about your parents, your mother and your father.
Well, actually, Joe, you were named after my father.
Yeah.
And my parents came here as teenagers, worked in a factory from Sicily, and they got married here in New York and New York City and had many children. And they, my father was a very hard working man. He had, several jobs to provide enough money to take care of the family financially. And he worked hard. He worked, I remember there was a time where he worked for $1 a day. And it was a 12-hour a day to work at that time.
What qualities do you see from your father that you believe you have?
Well, I think it's the being a father, taking care of the children, making sure they had enough food and comfort, and you know, I always worked hard for the family, and that's why I was so successful, because that was a feeling I always had, that I had to exceed in whatever I had to do to make enough money to take care of the family financially. So it worked out very well, and my father had the same feeling.
Did your father like to fish? Your father loved fish,
I never
but
saw him fish.
so how did you? You told me once that your father would be the most happy if he had a fish.
Oh yeah,
Loved fish.
he loved to eat fish,
Loved to eat fish.
no matter what kind of fish it is.
Did you ever go fishing with the idea of I want to bring home a fish from my dad?
Definitely, all the time. As a teenager, as a young adult, yeah, I always felt that way.
And so you fished on your own. But what about okay? What about your mother? What qualities do you think that your mother had that you think you have?
Well, she had so much love for her children and care, and the desire for her to help you to grow in a manner of a good Christian life. And she was very Christian, even though she had no education, formal education. But she could carry on a conversation with anybody.
And you said she would sign her name with an X.
Yeah.
So did she make it to the fourth grade or
No, she never went to school.
never went to school at all? And what town in Italy was she from?
It's called Shara
In Sicily.
in Sicily.
And your father was from
Trapani.
in Sicily.
Yeah.
Now, Do you ever remember anything that your parents said? Do you have something like in your memory that oh, that remind maybe a saying that they used to say, or
Well, one of the things that they wanted you to naturally to succeed. That's always in the back of my mind. Is they wanted a good thing happen to you. So whether you were like a laborer, like my older brothers, or a carpenter, like one of my brothers, or a tool and die maker, like another brother, or a machinist, like my brother Al, so long as you succeeded in whatever you did, that was always in back of my mind, to succeed and to be successful. And that's, I think, came from my mother and father. And even though they couldn't understand, certain things that happened to my life, such as going into sales and knocking on doors on strangers, they couldn't understand that, how an educated, at that time, a high school educated, with a little college experience, had to knock on doors and sell insurance. They couldn't, they couldn't understand that. Why did I have to do that? Where I had the education in their mind to work in an office. I didn't have to do something like that. So, or to travel, and, so that's the things that my parents wanted as the best for their children.